How are you using AI in your firm currently, or how are your clients using AI?
So I'm going to take the low-hanging fruit here and talk about AI Note Taker. I use it with pretty much all my clients. The one exception is some attorneys prefer that I don't, which is understandable. And there's a couple things that I do with it. First of all, it takes better notes than I possibly could, and I use Fathom. But it not only helps me create a record of notes of what we discussed in the meeting, but it also is really helpful for my clients. So at the end of the meeting, it basically gives you a summary in a perfect format. It tells you, what the meeting was for, what are the key topics. It'll and then break down the topics in terms of the different things discussed. And then most importantly, at the end, it tells you what the next steps are. So I'll go in, clean it up a bit, make sure it makes sense, save it for myself, and then I'll refer to it before I have my next meeting. And then I will also send it on to my client, which reduces the administrative work, by 50% probably for me, because they know, exactly what we talked about, so they don't forget, and they know what they need to do between meetings. Again, I use Fathom. I've found it to be incredibly easy to use, very efficient, and it's just been a real deal breaker for me. Not deal breaker. It's improved things.
Game changer.
Game changer. Thank you.
Oh, we are still creating the base copy, but the software that we have as a companion. Now, over the years, when I first opened my court reporting business, I was the court reporter. I was licensed as a court reporter and everything else. But within 3 to 5 years, I had to choose whether I wanted to stop and grow my company or keep it as a boutique and pick and choose the clients that I wanted to work with. I decided to take my hands off of that machine and work as a boutique, on growing the company. Today, since I sold to Veritext, I am back in it and have been in it for about 10 years in using digital reporting. So we've got software that my job is speaker designations, which sometimes the AI doesn't determine who the speaker is in the moment. And so I do, my main thing is speaker designations and working out the spellings and things like that. And so, and there's, because of the speed and because of the cross-talking, I still, court reporters are still the best. Court reporters are the best for immediate transcript, what we call real time. And you'll notice it also, and it'll probably get instituted for captioning on television. And I think a lot of people will laugh at what AI is going to turn up if you use AI for captioning on TV. So there's just, yeah, we'll still be in business. We'll still be that third unbiased party that, keeps the record, a verbatim record, and I'm not interested in the outcome of the case. So
Yeah, so our clients are coming to us on the legal front. So some of our clients are using AI in the mergers and acquisitions space. They're using it in order to do analysis on a lot of the different information that a company is bringing, including financials. They're also approaching us to use it in the HR space. If you've got a client that is all over the United States and some internationally, they are coming and asking you to use AI in order to do things like compensation analysis and that kind of stuff, especially when it relates to geography. I am set to have a demonstration with a company called Legal ENG. They're a bunch of engineers that came out of a company called Ironclad, and they're supposedly using AI to assist law firms with CLM, what they call CLM, which is contract life cycle management. And so I'm interested to see. I agree with everybody who is saying that you can use AI, but you really need to oversee it. And we're doing that at every turn. But I think that the clients have an expectation that it shouldn't take months on end in order to do the analysis anymore if you've got the tools in order to get it done in a matter of weeks.
Like a little bit of a contrarian view, and it's not an anti-AI view, but the work that I'm doing with clients and law firms and managing partners, and they're risk averse and all those things that we talked about. But really the biggest impact I have on them is really a mindset change about how they view their clients and how they view their business development process. So anything that's perceived as throwing mud at the wall would just undermine confidence in both me and what we're trying to accomplish. And so it's really building relationships, and those are the sorts of AI content that is easiest to sniff out, as opposed to just factual based content or how to do it content. So they're pretty reluctant from that. I think as things get better trained and it learns your voice and things like that, then once they know what they're trying to execute, there can be more. But they're also hearing from people that, oh, we're just going to spew out all this stuff from a conventional point of view, and then that just makes you sound like the stupid people out there, as opposed to the smart people with a little bit different perspective. And so that's kind of the reluctance I see, certainly from a standpoint of using it for notes. I'm a big handwrite note, but it's like to have a backup with timestamps, because something goes by too fast, I'll write a little time in my notes and then I can go back, and it makes that process even easier because it's already recorded. So that's an efficiency there. And it's great for taking long form content and chunking it up into smaller pieces. So an efficiency, piece there. And then asking it questions in terms of research and things like that. But I don't think my clients are quite ready to have it try to build relationships for them. It needs to serve those relationships, but those need to be built first.
Yeah, I'd agree with Bruce. I think the whole thing with AI and why it's intimidating, it's a tool, and we should use it and approach it as a tool as opposed to a substitute. And the great fear that lawyers have, at least I have, is that people are going to use it as a substitute. And it doesn't, whether it's emotion, whether it's, anything, frankly, that if AI could do it in 10 minutes, how come you can't do it in 10 minutes? Well, AI may not have the same perspective or whatever. It's not, we can use it, all these, and I think it's fantastic as a tool, but it's not a substitute. And I think that's the whole thing, is people are looking at it as a substitute.
My feeling is most people don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
And they use it in these ways that are kind of, they're lazy. Let's just call it what it is. Like, it's lazy. But if you know how to use it, like I think of AI as a tool. It's kind of like a chainsaw. If you don't know how to use a chainsaw, you might chop your arm off. It might get really bad really quick. But it could also save you a ton of time. You're not as sore. You get more done. Like, it helps you a lot if you know how to use it. And I've seen a tremendous benefit in my business using it. So we've developed a AI software in-house. It's called our Business Health Check and Analysis, and it allows us to provide a ton of information to law firm owners really quickly. Oftentimes, a law firm owner, they come to us with one or two issues, but they usually aren't aware of everything. It's usually not as simple as one or two issues. And so this tool that we've developed, it really helps us get at the root causes, and it allows us to not treat symptoms, but really get at the deeper issues and leave the clients with lasting solutions. So this AI tool, it evaluates on 692 metrics. It's trained on hundreds of books. Obviously, we interface with ChatGPT in an API environment, so it's a little more advanced. But what we're able to gather using a detailed questionnaire that takes about an hour or two, and then a follow-up hour-long interview in about 24 to 72 hours, we're able to provide a 20-page to 50-page report that's customized. It gives them a detailed action plan that identifies their biggest opportunities for growth. It tells them the 5 most important things to solve and gives them an order in which to solve it. It cuts through all the shiny object syndrome that I run into a lot. And it's giving really fantastic results. So I think it's all how you use it.
I don't really use AI. We'll use chat to help formulate emails a little bit more professionally than what a knuckle dragger such as myself would formulate. But what I'm curious about, because I've been seeing a lot of advertising for this small note taker you put in your pocket or on the desk. Do the ones that you guys are using, is it only when you're doing like a Zoom call or a Teams meeting?